And
At home, what happens if you leave the light on?
we run out of power. But if we run out of power, we can still have power. We have a generator.
What happens when you run out of electricity in the generator?
Well, we put more petrol in. What if there was none left in the world? What would you do then?
85% of the energy we use is from non-renewable resources. US Department of Energy, 2009.
Water shortage is one of the most worrying problems for the new millennium. United Nations Environment Programme, 1999.
Our industrialised agriculture produces over 20% of all greenhouse gas emissions. Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, 2007.
We create over 1 billion tonnes of waste globally every 365 days. This contaminates our air, water and soil for thousands of years to come. United Nations Environment Programme, 2008.
These are problems to which we all contribute. They will provide some of the greatest challenges for the future. It is important that we equip the next generation to address these challenges.
Sustainability to me means doing things today that will not have a negative impact for the future. And more than that, doing things today that make the future better than the present and better than the past.
So it's important that we integrate sustainable concepts into education because I think the children are our future, and it's the one chance where we get a go of everyone in the population through the same system. So if that system can support people to be environmentally minded and aware and empowered to know how to make change, not just overwhelmed by the disaster that's happening around us, I think education is the tool for change.
In New South Wales, Australia, initiatives to integrate sustainability concepts into schools and education are being led by many different people, programs, and organizations, starting in preschools, such as the Channon Children's Centre.
We live in a rural area in northern New South Wales that our families rely heavily on the water catchment that they catch off their own properties. We had a lot of runoff occurring from the main road, and we decided to use that runoff and educate our children about where water can take us and where water goes. So what we've just had done in the last holidays is we've completed a garden that creates a water feature, which has created a water feature. It starts at one point of the garden, like the river systems in our valleys, and ends at a point where the collection of that water is.
Here comes the water, here comes the water.
One of the greatest parts of having a water feature in a preschool is we can show our children how important it is to collect the water that comes down and being able to isolate it so there is no runoff from it and the water isn't wasted.
My daughter came home from preschool one day singing a Waterwise song, and I thought that was great. So we've been singing that ever since. And it talks about turning your tap off as soon as you're finished and brushing your teeth without the tap on, and it was great.
Just up the hill, students at the Channon Public School are learning about sustainability concepts through activities that they benefit from directly.
Firstly, we've got the vegetable garden as one of the sustainability initiatives we have at the school. The idea was to work with the children on the whole process of bringing produce, rather than going to the store and buying produce, seeing where it actually comes from and how they can do that in a sustainable sort of a way.
This is our veggie garden that we've been working on with Brian and a couple of other mums that come in and volunteer to help. As you can see, it still needs a bit of weeding, but we're getting there. We grow lettuce and tomatoes, and we have a passion fruit vine, and I think that's all. The main reason why we grow this garden
we grow it for a healthier canteen and a healthier community. And also, it's fresh, and we like fresh stuff in the canteen.
My favourite part is we get lots of good nutritious food out of it, and we get to have fun planting, and most schools can't do that because they're big schools, so I think we're really lucky.
My favourite part is when we've done all the food, once we've planted all the food, and say there's heaps of peas everywhere, and when next time we come in to do some more planting, we can just snack on the peas whenever we like.
Last year we went to the local tip for an excursion, and we had a look there at how much landfill was being generated and looked at what the local council is doing to try and minimise the landfill. And they've set some real targets around that. It's got a worm farm and it's got all the recycling and what have you there in place. From that, the children came back and developed a plan to make better use of the waste we generate in the school.
Okay, so this green bucket is where we put all our compost, our things that, food scraps, and we take it down to the garden, put it in the compost heap, or we feed it to the chickens.
The yellow bin is where we put our recyclables, like paper that doesn't have any food on it or stuff, and that goes in the yellow bin and goes to the tip and gets recycled.
The red bin here is for rubbish, like poppers and plastic bags, and it would go to the dump. It would just go to landfill. Yeah. Just go straight to landfill.
I think it's important to introduce sustainability concepts to children from a young age, because they can adapt those skills into their lifestyle from a very young age. The older you learn it, then it takes longer to change your habits.
Look, children are our future, and if we can get the whole concept of sustainability across to our children in schools and preschools, then they take that message home, but they also grow up to be adults for whom it's second nature to look after the earth and all inhabitants, whether they be human or animal.
And those things can happen really easily and really naturally at that early level, and the kids are just part of it, and then they grow into it because it's not seen as something extra and special or different or hard. It's just what you do.